Good morning from Crowder's Mountain. I am here for a 5-hour run for my training for No Business 100, which is in 3 weeks. But I came out here to try to run some of the course for Beast of the East 100, which is coming up in December. So I am going from the Boulders Aid Station all the way out to Boulders and back, and a little bit extra if I have some time. But I wanted to get some footage of the course for anybody who can't get out here and run. And then next weekend, which is October the 11th, there is a training run, which I believe is going to take the first half of the course. So if you're able to get out here, run that little bit, and then hopefully if you're only able to do one, or if you can't get out here at all, I'll have some video footage so you can kind of see what to expect coming out here. It's a really great race. I've run the 50 miler, the 100K, signed up for the 100 miler this year, but I'm probably going to drop down after No Business. But we'll see what happens. So hopefully this will help you out. I'll kind of give some tips that I've come up with. I'm not a super experienced ultra runner. I've only been doing it for 2 years, but there are some tips and tricks that I might have that could help somebody out. So I'll try to do what I can and come along for the ride. So this should be, I believe this is going to be the Boulders Aid Station this year. It's been down there the past few years, but once you leave here, you're going to do a little counterclockwise loop. You'll pass the bathroom, which I'll show you here in a second, and then do that little loop, and then you hop out on the course, go out, and have a good time. So here is the picnic shelter. It is nice and covered, so even if it's raining like it has been in years past, you'll have some cover. Your crew can be here. There's a parking lot right over here, and there's another lot a little farther back that we'll pass. So it's a good crew access station. Like I said, there's actual bathrooms, not just porta-johns, and there's usually a fun crowd out here. So let's get started. We'll turn on a nice little hill. This hill is a great place to have a snack or eat your aid station food as you're hiking up. Save a little energy before you really get going. nice time in the trees. I'm gonna get some running done. Watch your feet. We're gonna go away from the visitor center to the left. And then this is where you'll pop back in. This is where the loop goes. So when you're coming in, you'll go that way towards the picnic areas. And then now we're gonna join back up on the main line where it's a little less confusing. So for me, the first year I did it, that little loop aid station area was the spot where I got the most confused on the directions. So keep an eye out for that one. Kind of look at the map, make sure you know which way you're going. That'll help you out. So as you can see, after you leave that aid station, you have that one little hump, and it's fairly runnable. There are a couple rocks and roots, but if you're fast, you'll probably be running all of this part until you get to the big climb. So I'm gonna put down the camera for now, and I'll pick it back up where you'll need to pull out your poles possibly, or start power hiking. So about a mile, 1.3 miles after you leave Wolfston Aid Station, you're gonna come to this. So when you're leaving Wolfston to go out towards Boulders, you're gonna follow the sign for Pinnacle and Ridgeline. So this is the way we're gonna head towards the Boulders Aid Station. But earlier on the race, when you're coming down from the start, you're gonna come down this way, and then that's how you're gonna loop back to Wolf's Den. You're gonna do that little loop, come back out, and then head out towards Boulders. So remember, heading towards Pinnacle, you're kind of going straight. You're not gonna do that little U-turn there. So that's where we came from, and then that's where we're going. So you do have a little bit of incline here, but it's nothing like it's gonna be. So you can still kind of run it. It's not quite Pole's area yet, but there are lots of wrecks, so watch out for those. So we were following the white triangles. Now we've switched to the red circles. So that's what we're looking for now. Alright, so this is an important thing to remember that will save you a lot of grief during the race. So when you get to this fork, so you can go right or left, and then this is the map. So we are here. So if you go this way, you're gonna have a bad day. You're gonna add a little extra to your race. So that goes all the way up to Pinnacle. We are not summiting Pinnacle, which is nice because that's a little uppy downy. So we're here. We're gonna go to the left on race day. So we're gonna go left, go up ridgeline, go all the way to here, which is where the 161 aid station is gonna be. And then you'll get some good food. There's usually something good on a grill there. And then we're gonna keep following ridgeline all the way around to the Boulders access area. So this will be an aid station. It'll have real bathrooms, lots of food, lots of aid. It's a great spot for your crew to be. I believe you'll have drop bags there as well. So that is a really nice aid station, and that will be the end. So if you keep going and you pass a sign that says you're going into South Carolina or Kings Mountain, you have gone too far. Turn around. We'll have to go find you down there. But get your aid here, get a good bathroom stop, stock up, and then head back out. So we've come from down here and go all the way up. Take this left. That is an important one to remember. And we'll keep going all the way to 161. It is a very pretty view up there. It's worth going on not race day, but do not go to the right here on race day. Here we go. I like this part. It's less gravelly road, more trail, so it's a little softer, but it does have a lot more rocks and roots, so be aware of that, especially as you make that change back there after you've climbed, and then you start to open up on this a bit more. Just watch those roots when you first make that change. And if you'll notice, this park has a lot of these, so it gives you kind of a marker. So in case of emergency, if you've paid attention to these, you can let them know where you are. If you notice when you get over here as well, you'll see a lot of charred trees. And last year in 2024, there was a big fire on Crowder's Mountain like the week before the race. So luckily air quality was good. It was put out by the time the race came, but there were still smoldering trees and things during the race. So it was kind of eerie, added a little interesting mystique to the race last year. But you'll still see a lot of those trees down, a lot of the charred. But the cool thing to see, to kind of keep your mind on something while you're racing, is watching how the vegetation's starting to come back. So it's been a year, but things are coming back. So this is a fun part to run. So I'm gonna put the camera down and just play on some flowy trails. See you soon. Here's where you'll start to see a lot more of the rocks show up. A little bit more bouldery, bigger rocks. So if it's raining, watch your step. They can get slick. But it's kind of intermittent at first. And then you notice more and more of these rocks. Just enough to slow you down for a second. Then you get back on some trail. So the best tip I'll give you when you get to more of the rocky areas is keep your eyes up, look for the trail markers, and that'll get you kind of the shortest distance between 2 points. So we're heading down there. But yeah, look for those red markers and they'll get you where you need to go safely. And then in the really sketchy bits, Richard usually has lots of marking, lots of ropes, especially in the more dangerous areas, because there are some spots that get dangerous. So watch for those rocky bits. No broken arms. But yeah, just one red circle to the next is my biggest good tip for the rocky bits. All right, so there are a couple road crossings. Be very, very careful, especially at night, because some of these will sneak up on you. So some of these, like for the drivers, so they might not see you. There are flashing signs that I'll show you in a second, but be very, very careful at these road crossings. Don't think anybody sees you. Make sure they stop first. So we are right here. So we're passing, I guess this is Pinnacle Road, like Montana Road. Richard can correct me on that one. So we are headed out. We were here at that last sign. We are now at this road crossing. So there's the first road crossing, and then we're gonna head out towards 161. So that's your next aid station coming up. So we're gonna cross Pinnacle Road here. We're gonna make sure nobody's gonna hit us with a car. So you've got this sign, you got the button. This one is working right now. Look both ways and cross the street. So do not go down this driveway. We're following the sign, going to the right once we cross the road. And then we're gonna run down here and then hop back on the trail. So we're gonna climb back up a little bit. I'm gonna have a gel because I'm a little late on that. But this is a nice little bit. You can run it. It's not steep. And just follow the red blazes. Might be a little spot. That is not a trail. Don't go that way. Just climbed up. We're still headed towards the 161 aid station. Gets a little more overgrown back here. Not as many people come on this side, I guess. But this is my favorite part of the trail. If you tell from the race footage, or the footage that I just did, you can really catch some time there. And if you're used to the rocky, rooty trails on the East Coast, it's really runnable. So that's where I get a lot of time. I'm not great at climbing. I'm not good at bouldering. Getting better. 3rd year doing this, so I've done it a few times, so better than the 1st year. But that's where you can really catch some time if you're used to these trails. It's really runnable right there. So we're gonna follow this arrow here. So you got a nice red arrow. We're gonna turn up here. And if you listen closely, you can hear some of that road traffic. So we're getting close. This part is paved. It's some of the only paved section of the course. It's like an old road. So I don't know if you like that or not, but it's there. There's not too much of it. And if you can tell, one of the tricks of this race is it's on one of the shortest days of the year usually. So you get a ton of darkness. So make sure you have your headlamps. Make sure you have backups. My first year, I'd never run in the dark. And full blast headlamp started dying over on the bouldering side of things. Other thing to note, see, it was a very short section of this asphalt. This is the way we go. So you're not gonna go straight. That's not a trail. We're gonna go to the right and then head towards Boulders. So make sure you have a headlamp. Mine was dying. Luckily, I kind of latched on to some guys, kept up with them, and between them and my phone light was able to get back to the aid station. But I learned that day, always have a backup headlamp, always make sure your batteries are in there. Be over prepared for the darkness on this race, because it'll be more than you're used to. So keep that in mind when you're packing things. Also, have some warm stuff for the overnight. It does get cold usually in December. It could be 90 degrees in December. It could be 20 degrees in December in North Carolina. So make sure you're prepared, especially if you're coming from out of town. Overpack versus underpack. So here we are. Once again, this is a busy road crossing. We are here. We're crossing 161, and then we'll go all the way to Boulders. So this should be, we'll wait till we get to the other side. But when you cross this road, when I drive this road in, this sneaks up on me. So make sure people stop for you. So this is where 161 will be set up. Last year, they were kind of over here. Had some tents, had some delicious stuff on the grill. But this is a really good spot. They'll have all the things you can need. I got some Vaseline for my feet here last year. Really saved me from some blisters. But these guys are awesome, and they will take good care of you. I think one year they had barbecue or pulled pork or something. It was delicious. But this is a really good aid station. And yeah, they'll take good care of you. So once you get your aid station stuff here, we'll head back out. And I believe this is around like 10.3, 10.4 miles into the race from the very first aid station, from the start line. So you'll be here, you'll get stocked up, and then you head back out to Boulders. So that's where you can see your crew up there. I don't think they let crew come here because, as you can see, there's no parking. It's a busy intersection, so don't let your crew come here. I think it's not in the rules. So here we go. Also, if you noticed, I love that section of the course. That's my favorite section. It's fast. So let's head on out. I think it's like, about 3 miles-ish to Boulders. That'll be your 13.4 mark. We'll turn around and go back. So here we go. So right after I left the 161 aid station, there was a giant dog on the trail. He looked healthy, he had a collar on, but he was barking in the middle of the trail. Luckily, another girl was coming behind him and he heard her and scampered back out in the woods. So I have a feeling he might live over there. But if you know anybody missing a brown and white pity mix, he might be back there just past the 161 aid station. He did not look friendly enough to check his collar, so I just waited for him to get scared off and then kept going. I forgot my pepper spray today, so didn't want to risk an angry dog. But if you can take a peek at this, we're coming up on another intersection. So we're gonna go up this way. Hello. So that is not part of the race course. It's not a trail. We are coming here. So we passed 161. Dog was here. We're all the way here. We've got approximately 2.3 miles to Boulders, and then that'll be the turnaround point. So we've almost seen the back half of the course. So remember, when you get to this sign, we're not going that way. That's not a trail. We're gonna turn, we're gonna follow this lovely emergency sign and keep going up. So it's a very slight incline on a wide trail up to this point. So now we're gonna narrow down a little bit more. So during the race, this is an out and back, so you gotta be watching out for people coming both directions. So make sure you watch where you're going, don't run into anybody, especially if you have your poles out. I don't think you really need poles for this part of the course. So especially once you hit 161, really past Pinnacle Road, unless you're hurting or you're getting tired, that might be when you need poles. But this part of the course, I don't think you need it too much. So I wanted to show you some of the downhill going. We're about 1.5 miles from Boulders. It is downhill, but I will show you the footing. Looks a little more rocky, Rudy. So make sure you're picking up your feet. I may not have the best form, but figured you'd like to see what it looks like. There are rocky bits. There are lots of rooty bits. So the other thing to remember during this race is that it's fall and all these leaves will be down on the ground. So earlier on the course, I think last year I came out 2 weeks before the race and it was just shin deep leaves up there. Leaves. So keep that in mind. Last year, a lot of that had burned during the fire, so that cleared off the ground a little bit better. But you have to really pay attention to your feet, especially on these bits with the leaves down. So it might slow you down more than you think it will, depending on how many leaves have fallen. So we're still in, this is October 4th, 2025. So not much is down yet, but by the time we hit December, there'll be a lot more leaf litter on the floor. So just something to think about. So like I said, we're about 1.5 miles from Boulders. It's still pretty runnable. There are a couple of little short bloops, but they're really short. Good spot to take your gel in and then get back to some good running. So we're about 1.1 miles from Boulders, and you'll see a little sign here for the overlook. We are not going there. We are gonna go to the left and head down to the aid station. So maybe on a different day you can head up there and to the overlook, but not on race day, unless you want to add a little bit of distance to your day, which on this course you probably don't want to. So again, it's downhill. Watch your feet. All the rocks and roots. So yet again, this is the last road crossing before Boulders. We're like 0.8 from the aid station, so you know you're almost there when you hit this road crossing. So this is Bethlehem Road here. So we've come, that was our first map that we looked at. We've come all the way up through here, hit 161, kept coming up. Now we are right here. So what we're gonna do is go kind of a little loop around. So that is where the aid station is. So we're almost there. So like I said, only about 0.8, 3/4 of a mile to the aid station. Once again, watch the road crossings. Let's see if this one's working today. So it's working. No one's coming. So at this one, we're gonna cross the road, turn to the left, and then just look for that little red thing there. I'm sure Richard will have it really well marked for you, so you know, go to the left at this one. So my big advice, if you're not able to get out here before race day, or if you're only able to get out once, I would really aim for that October 11th course preview, because there will be a lot of good tips and tricks for the front end of the course. This end of the course, pretty straightforward, pretty runnable. So if you can only make it and do a little bit of course preview, hit that first little bit. Morning. So here is a very important note. We are not going to South Carolina. So you'll come down to here. So you'll be going this way, but you got to take a sharp left to go towards Boulders Overlook here. So we get down to the sign that says South Carolina. Do not go to South Carolina. You will get lost. We're gonna kind of loop up and go to Boulder. So we're coming down and we're gonna turn sharp left. So you'll see Boulders access, 0.23 miles. You are almost to the aid station. So once you hit that loop, so if you're getting close to that 13.4 halfway mark, keep an eye out for that turn. I'm sure it'll be marked fantastically, just like I've said multiple times in this, but if you see a sign, take a peek at it. If you see South Carolina, do not go that way. You made it to Boulders. So this is where Boulders Aid Station will be. It's really well set up. As you can see, it is also covered. They usually have like a whole spread. Everything's out here. You do have actual bathrooms, which is always nice. And then you have tons of space for crew. So crew can park out here. They can set up a little spot here to hang out, wait for you. There's tons of space. So, and my battery died. I knew that was gonna happen. I did not bring a spare. I will have to remember that. So, like I said, this is Boulders. It's a fantastic spot for crew to be, just to come see ya, to crew you, whatever they need to do. And there, like I said, there's plenty of space out here for them to set up and hang out. But yeah. Great bathrooms. The biggest thing I will say is do not trip. There's a little step there. It is painted yellow. Don't trip on it when you're going in or out. But otherwise, this is the perfect spot to turn around. So you've made it 13.4 miles. You're gonna loop around, go back 26, and then I'll talk a little more on my GoPro when I get home about the whole course. So hope you enjoyed this.